Congratulations, my name is Orville Higgins and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's a live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yeah.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Need to estimate your duty? Perform a track and trace? Search for a declaration?
Then download the Jamaica Customs mobile app today. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
12 p.m.
Thanks for joining us for CVM News at Noon. It's Friday, January 16, 2026. I'm Amoy Harriet. Up first this afternoon, nurses and doctors at the Cornwall Regional Hospital in St. James are protesting what they describe as inhumane working conditions. Nurse representative for St. James, Nurse Parker, told our newsroom that the hospital continues to face severe space constraints, particularly in the accident and emergency ward. Nurses say the situation has become so dire that they're forced to step over dead bodies due to limited space, while some patients are left lying on the ground because of a shortage of beds. They're calling for urgent intervention.
First of all, there is overcrowding. There are currently over 100 patients in the area, and it's supposed to house maybe about 35. Yes, and my nurses have to code patients that is provide resuscitative care on the floor. That is inhumane. And at this time, the nurses just cannot take anymore. We even have some rodent infestation. They have communicated before, and we still haven't gotten a response. So this morning, we need to take some action, and we are doing it today.
Meanwhile, a visitor from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dominic Prince, who has a heart condition, says the situation at the Cornwall Regional Hospital forced him to leave the facility against medical advice. He told our newsroom that he made the decision to sign himself out of the hospital after becoming uncomfortable with what he says is poor condition of the facility.
I don't care what anybody wants to say. Sit down on chair from yesterday. Right? And they still want me to stay back. I gotta sign myself out. I can't live like that. I'm a human being and not a dog. Because you cannot have a person sit down in a chair all night and say you're checking them. It's gonna be worse. What can you do for a person sitting in a chair and they don't get comfortable?
So you have signed yourself out and you're leaving now, right?
I'm leaving now.
Joining us now to get the very latest on what's happening, we have the president of the Nurses Association of Jamaica, Dawn Marie Richards, and the president of the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association, Dr. Renee Badreau. Nurse, let me start with you. What was it that broke the camel's back, that triggered this action by the nurses over there in Cornwall?
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us. At this time, what would have broken the camel's back? It's a situation where people just felt like they couldn't go any further. That's the situation. They couldn't go any further. We are talking about a situation that has been in place prior to Melissa, Hurricane Melissa, compounded by the passing of Melissa. Cornwall Regional Hospital is a 300-bed unit, right? Melissa would have rendered 140 of those beds out of use. This would have affected the A&E. The A&E, the retrofitted A&E or the refashioned A&E that they are operating from is an area that was fashioned to have 39-40 patients. On Wednesday, there were 120 patients in that area. This morning, there were 115 patients in that area. How do you work in a space like that?
Dr. Badro, medical doctors are now joining in 2 days later. Why?
Well, the doctors actually had started to sound the alarm from last year. So if you recall, there was a letter that was sent to the Minister of Health from the JMD on November 7, 2025. So we have been one of the persons also heralding the problems at the Cornwall Regional Hospital.
So what steps have both your groups taken to speak with the authorities, whether the Health Ministry or the Western Regional Health Authority, and what has been the response? Let me start with you, Ms. Richards.
The Nurses Association of Jamaica continues to maintain the dialogue with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, both at the permanent secretary level and at the minister's level. We have, the challenge that I have is that there are conflicting reports coming out of the Cornwall Regional Hospital, because I remember in 2024 when I did approach the minister with the concerns along with some other areas of interest. The minister was told that the things that we were reporting were not true. So we have that challenge. The information that is going to the minister is different from the reality that is on the ground. And I have repeatedly said it to anybody who would listen. The people who are offering the information at the government level or at the political level are not being fair, and they're not being honest. Because as I have said, this situation is not new. We have been having this situation before Melissa, and Melissa has compounded the matter. Cornwall Regional Hospital is the only public hospital in St. James. St. James is one of our most active tourist areas. On Tuesday, I got a complaint from a tourist, a Jamaican, but she was visiting here, lives in the States and was visiting. The lady was taken to A&E at Cornwall Regional Hospital, and after 4 hours with an IV access in her hand, nobody paid her any mind. She walked off the ward, off the unit, and went about her business. But she said, well, I think I'm feeling much better than if I stay here. So she went out and got private treatment. And of course, the blame was on the nurses. It is not fair. It is really not fair.
Dr. Badro, how about you? What have you been hearing in terms of the dialogue with the authorities?
So we're actually hearing a lot of reports on what could be termed as a band-aid situation, where sometimes the appropriate authorities would come and there would be hurried changes and changes in the staff. A typical example right now is that the doctors and the nurses who are a part of the A&E team and unit, they have pulled other doctors and other nurses from other areas of the hospitals and other specialties and deprived those patients of their relative healthcare workers to put them now in A&E. That is one example of a band-aid situation. There are other examples where, when the appropriate as ANJ president has rightly said, what the report on the ground sometimes is not congruent with what is sent, because when outside authorities come, situations are hurriedly attended to, or persons are not directed to the area or the situation where these problems are occurring. So we have a problem with the congruence, and I said it last year. What the chief executive officer of the hospital had stated last year was not congruent with the state of Cornwall Regional Hospital. It cannot continue like this. It cannot continue.
And we're just about out of time, but Ms. Richards, what's next? In 10 seconds.
What's next? Well, I have scheduled a meeting with the Minister of Health and Wellness to see how matters can be addressed. I have also had some telephone dialogue with the permanent secretary. Not sure when I'll be meeting with him, but I did ask for a meeting with him as well.
All right, thank you so much. That was President of the Nurses Association of Jamaica, Dawn Marie Richards, and before her, President of the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association, Dr. Renee Badreau. Thanks so much again, ladies, for joining us this afternoon. It's time now for a break, but stay with us. More when we come back.
Power in great moments. If you have financial needs, Chris and Charles will fix them for you. Power in great moments since 1992. Oh, we have it all. Power in great moments. Relax, you got Chris and Charles. Oh, we have it all. When you think alone, think Chris and Charles.
Go buy your Miracle Fire Rub for all arthritis, pain, swelling, poor circulation, numbness, inflammation, cold and flu, stroke, stiffness, sprains, strain, boils, insects, bites, and menstrual discomforts. Miracle Fire Rub, available at King Street Pharmacy, 72.5 King Street, downtown Kingston, Case Pharmacy, Duhaney Park Plaza, Kingston and Fontana Pharmacies nationwide, and March Pharmacy, downtown Kingston. Miracle Fire Rub. Rub it on, the pain is gone, gone, gone.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVMTV.
So much more than entertainment.
Welcome back to CVM News at noon. Now, the government has officially launched the Shelter Recovery Program, a national initiative aimed at supporting families whose homes were damaged during recent disasters, including Hurricane Melissa. To speak with us more about this initiative, we're now joined via Zoom by the Minister of Labor and Social Security, Minister Pernell Charles Jr. Good afternoon, Minister.
Afternoon to you and to all of your listeners and persons who are watching.
Talk to us. What's the main goal of the Shelter Recovery Program, and how does it support long-term recovery after Melissa?
So it helps with rehabilitation, which is basically anything that you need to get back onto your feet. It helps with the restoration and the reconstruction by providing support in terms of cash, and the big support that's coming in terms of the labor and the material to give you solutions, roof repair solutions, and in some cases under this program, persons will be getting full solutions, whether it is the modular solution or one of the houses under the social housing program. So this program is a very comprehensive program, including 6 different components, all geared towards ensuring that the persons who were impacted, persons who were assessed, persons who have been verified, that they get the support from the government to assist them to be restored, and to be restored in such a way that it is resilient as possible.
Where that assessment is concerned, how were households assessed and placed into the minor, major, or severe damage categories?
Yes, great question. So we have assessors on the ground that have been trained. They're experts. They also bring volunteers in. They go to the house physically. They interview the occupants. They take pictures. They do GPS location. And they use a digital format called the JH Dyna form, which is the Jamaica Household Damage Impact Needs Assessment form that gives us immediate real-time uploading of all of the information that we get from the persons that we are interviewing. Now, that assessment is verified to make sure that the information that is taken and that the work of the assessor is monitored. And once it is assessed and verified, that name of the household is placed on our beneficiary list. That list is the important list. That is the list that all of the stakeholders, government, our NGO partners, the program that we're doing in terms of roof repair, all of those things flow from that list. So you have to be assessed, be verified, be on the list, and then you can get a benefit from one of the components, whether cash or whether it is the roof repair or a full house solution under the shelter recovery program.
So for that cash, what's the amount that's allocated to beneficiaries, and do you think it's enough?
Well, I mean, come on, it's never going to be enough. But I can tell you, it's a large allocation of $10 billion, not million, $10 billion just to start as the initial allocation. And we've done two things with that $10 billion. It comes under the roofs program, which is the program that allocates that $10 billion out to the three categories: minor, major, and severe. And we do two things, two big principles. One, we prioritize the severity, which means we start with the persons who are most severely impacted. And number two, we target vulnerabilities, meaning it doesn't matter whether you are in minor, major, or severe. Once you are persons with disability, or once you are someone who is a senior citizen, you are prioritized. So those two principles are utilized to make sure, or will be utilized in terms of the disbursement of that $10 billion, so that it is as effective as possible in helping the persons who need the help the most.
So when can these persons expect to start receiving the funds?
Well, I'm happy to say that under the SRP, we have had almost more than 6,000 persons have already received funds in the NHT component. Hundreds more have already received support through our roof repair that is led by the JDF and the international partners, Guyana, Ghana, Rwanda. And under the roofs, which is the $10 billion, the cash grants going out, we are working as hard as possible to make sure that we can get that out or start the disbursement by the end of January.
So how will the government ensure that vulnerable groups, that they receive priority assistance?
Excellent question. So remember I told you about this digital mechanism that we use now, a digital platform to do the assessments. In that assessment, we receive the information that is required for us to be able to target on our beneficiary list persons based on their vulnerabilities. And the geospatial unit in Jamaica is helping the ministry to overlay all of the information, meaning we have the beneficiary list, and then we have whatever the vulnerability is. So for instance, if you want elderly who are persons with disabilities, you can ask for that, and it pulls out of the list persons who fit that criteria. So that's the benefit of having a digitized, modernized system. It allows for us to be more targeted in how we disperse the benefit, and really to be able to identify and to assist the persons based on the prioritization of their vulnerability.
So I saw the Prime Minister the other day, he posted a video to his social media pretty much appealing to persons who receive these grants not to use them for anything outside of roof, fixing up back their homes. Are there any measures, specific measures in place to ensure that the grants are used only for home repairs?
Oh yes, we learned a lot of lessons in burial. So what we're doing with this one is, and follow me now, the persons who receive a benefit in the minor damage category will receive $75,000. And we consider that a rehabilitation grant, meaning you can use it to do whatever you want. Most of those persons have maybe already repaired the minor damage, and they may need it to help with something that was affected by flooding, books that need to be replaced, or something else. So for the minor damage, that's $75,000. You can use it how you want. But the other two categories, which is the major and severe, they will receive $200,000 and $500,000 respectively. And what we've done is for those two categories, you have the $75,000 that you can use in whatever way you want as your rehabilitation portion, but the remainder must be used towards repair. And how we're going to monitor that is by using a payment modality that is digital and allows for us to have greater management over the merchant that is used. We will know when you apply your cash grant, your grant, We'll know what you purchase. It allows for us to have greater accountability. And that's the benefit, again, of these more modern, innovative, digitized systems that allows us to have greater efficiency, but also greater accountability, knowing what is going to be done with the money that we're allocating for this specific purpose.
All right. Thank you so much, Minister. That was Minister of Labor and Social Security, Pernell Charles Jr. Thanks so much again, Minister.
Please.
In news now overseas, U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to use the Insurrection Act to deploy troops to end protests in the city of Minneapolis. There have been more than a week of protests after an immigration and customs enforcement agent fatally shot a woman. Al Jazeera tells us more.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. There's 6 of you. I can't breathe.
Protests, tear gas, and more arrests. There's no sign of the anger subsiding.